I'm a 24-year-old soldier, and after what happened to me, I have an uncontrollable fear of sirens. Every Saturday night at camp, I can hear screams that only I can hear. I wake my friends up sometimes just to see their reactions and maybe figure out a solution, maybe check it out or something, but they never hear a thing. The screams I hear are always from a child, a woman, or a man. But there's something peculiar about them. It has this quite noticeable static sound every time someone screams. Or should I say, whenever a scream plays. It sounds like it's coming out of a siren, and it wakes me up every night. I've learned to ignore it, and I've thought it's probably me imagining things, since I didn't like sirens that much as a kid either. Too loud to be enjoyable. It wakes me up every night, and it sounds very realistic. So I thought I should ask the headmaster if our sirens accidentally play those weird sounds at night. The next morning I talked to him about it, and he said that it may have been an error. But even if it was, the sirens were turned off at night. Only the alarm ones were on. I tried to get him to look deeper into this thing, because I doubted it was just an error and I was sure it was coming from a siren. But he said he thinks I'm talking nonsense, and sent me to do some exercises with the other soldiers. He might have been right. I maybe was just a bit paranoid. This night the sounds weren't that loud. It sounded as if it was playing from somewhere inside the forest. I couldn't take it anymore. I had to check it out. I grabbed a flashlight, a shotgun, and sneaked out of camp to go into the forest and investigate. I know I may sound like an idiot for doing this, like going out of camp to check it out, but those screams were making my sanity fall apart. I kept walking and walking. Nothing was found, but I could hear the screams getting louder. I'm sure I was approaching it. I ended up on a straight dirt road, and then I saw something. It was too dark to see clearly, but I could make out something really freaky in the shadows. It was in the middle of the road, so I pointed my flashlight at it. A slim monster that was as tall as a tree, with long arms that could reach its toes, and for a head, 2 sirens connected into a tube. It looked very skinny, as if it was only bones, but you could clearly see some flesh on it. It had metallic wires running through its body. I was terrified, but without any second thoughts, I immediately held up my gun and shot it. It didn't die. The bullet marks were clear, and I could see some blood running down, but instead of showing signs of pain, it started walking toward me. Without thinking, I ran in the opposite direction. The siren mimicked my scream and played it again. This static sound always gives me a sick feeling in my stomach, but from close up, it was even more terrifying. It then started to play some other weird sounds coming from its sirens. Tornado warnings, Amber Alert announcements, and general announcers speaking about disturbing things like murders, criminal escapes, and other messed up stuff. I could run really fast, but even though it was walking, it wasn't that far behind me. Let's just say I was far enough for it to not catch me. I grabbed my gun again, stopped, and shot one of the sirens. The sound it was playing glitched out. I managed to outrun it, but it started approaching me pretty quickly. I was far enough, but I could still see it in the dark. I was running for about half an hour, felt more like an eternity. Our distance didn't even change by a centimeter. It felt like I was running on an infinite road. Luckily, I saw a car. I thought someone was inside. Whoever it was, I needed them to get me away from that thing. But to my disappointment, it was locked. Big mistake stopping. The monster was now a bit closer, and the road had gotten really muddy, which slowed me down. I got off the road and ran into the forest. It didn't follow me in. I could see it facing me, but it stopped moving. I saw my camp. I was relieved, but still too scared to stop and relax. I asked the guards to let me in, and since they know me, They obviously opened the door. They asked me what I was doing outside that late and how I got out. I apologized and asked them to keep it a secret, but I later explained what I saw and how I left. They probably felt sorry for me and thought I was being paranoid, so they told me to go get some rest. I swore to them I wasn't lying about what I had seen. They still didn't believe me. I shrugged it off and went back to bed. That night I was terrified. It was the scariest experience I've ever had. Around 5 to 6 a.m., I woke up to the sounds of screams and a subtle smell of smoke. I came outside to see what had woken me up. Everything was on fire. Towers were torn apart, and I could see piles of dead bodies. The thing that caught my eye, though, was what I had seen just hours ago. That tall, skinny Siren Head monster. It was responsible for everything. Soldiers begged me to help them, but I couldn't do anything. They were literally torn in half. The monster saw me and reached out to grab me. It missed. The whole camp was on fire. I even wondered if I was in hell. I ran and ran. It chased me, but I never stopped. I ran for so long I came to the edge of a cliff. And there, in the light, I saw the monster more clearly, and it was more terrifying than before. It stopped walking. I could hear a crispy, soothing voice coming out of the siren. "Do you like heights, Mark?" How could it know my name? This has to be a never-ending nightmare, but it is reality. "Come to me." I begged the monster not to kill me. I cried and asked it to leave me alone. To my surprise, it left. Not sure if it regretted its decision or just wanted revenge later. As I watched it turn around and disappear into the woods, I felt relieved that I had escaped. I went back to camp and saw all the dead bodies and the ruins around me, but I had to call someone, or I wasn't leaving this place. I'm always carrying my cell phone, so I called 911 and told them to come to the camp's address. When they arrived, they asked me to explain what happened and how I survived it. I described everything in detail, but they thought I was joking and told me to stop joking around. I insisted I wasn't joking, and only then did they start to take me seriously. Sort of. They said they'd investigate. I packed my stuff, and they brought me back to my city. I went back home and was happy to see my wife and kids. They were surprised I came back so early. I was supposed to return 5 months later. I explained to my wife what had happened, but she just wouldn't believe me. She said I probably needed rest and to get all this stuff out of my crazy imagination. All this makes me curious. Am I living in a nightmare? Was I actually paranoid? Whatever it was, it's done. For now. I pushed the curtains aside and opened the window to get some fresh air. I looked outside. It felt good to be home, but what I saw in the distance filled me with dread. That monster was on top of a building, really far away. I tried to ignore it and went to get some sleep. Probably need to book a therapy session.